So, as star seeds and light workers and way showers and whatever label that we love to attach to how we see ourselves, what's so common is that you will also have experienced this as we've gone through so much in our life experience. It's very rare, I would say, that people that have come here on this planet to really go through their own personal ascension and also make some kind of an impact on the planet. It's very rare for people in this way to have had a very smooth sailing kind of life. So, first thing I wanted to share with you in this transmission is to validate and acknowledge that, to from my heart to yours, to let you know that you are seen and you are loved and you are known. Everything that you've gone through has had some kind of lesson, growth, meaning, purpose behind it. And the more and more I connect with star seeds and light workers across the planet of all different backgrounds, the more I learn about people's stories and people's histories. And many people, they really do open up and share things with me. And I can relate to this on such a personal level as well. So I wanted to today just share a little bit about my book that I wrote in 2022 now. And it was called Above and Beyond: A Human Journey of Courage, Resilience, Transformation, Magic, and Awakening. And this book really was channeled through from my own higher self. And it was, and it is, a story of my life experiences. But beyond that, I'm using my life as an experience, as a story. But really, this journey is to activate yours. It's to help you remember that there are things that you experience that when you start to look at it from a zoomed out place, you can really start to piece together all these things that happened to you, all these experiences that you had. And and I really love, it's one of my favorite things is to make sense of the experience that we've had, to take those lessons and to take those nuggets of wisdom and hard-earned stripes in many cases, and to knit them together into the most beautiful tapestry so that we can move forwards and really start to ascend on a much higher frequency. And if you've tuned into anything of my content, you will hopefully know and be aware that I am definitely not someone who is here to only look at the light and the light only. And I'm very, very real. It comes from my own experiences and also people that I've worked with. It's being very real about the journey, that the journey is not always smooth. There is so much more to it. So in this book, it reads like a novel. It reads that you're just kind of like reading a story, but there's five parts to it. And these are: part one is courage and confusion, part two is the energy of resilience, part three is transformation, part four is magic, and part five is awakening. And it takes you through a journey from basically going through the shit, going through stuff, reaching this kind of point in life where you have no choice but to transform, and then the journey that some of that involves. And again, it's not like a love and light only book. It's very real. It's very, yeah, it's very real, and it's about real life experience. So I just thought I would read to you the very first chapter so you can get a feel for the book, and I can leave the links in the description of this video or this audio. So if you want to order a copy, there you can do so on Amazon. So here we go, chapter one. I was 6 years old when first experiencing being far more expansive than my little human body. I'd been safely tucked up into bed that evening, and this was during a time when my family life felt stable and secure. Although we had very little money and experienced an ongoing struggle in that regard, we had, for quite a few years, a good home life. Meals were never bought out, they were always lovingly cooked by our mum. Bedtime stories were told by our dad, and we had trips to the park. We ran outdoors, played on our bikes, and trundled happily to school. I shared a bedroom with my big brother Paul. He was only 2.5 years older than me, but may as well have been 20 years older, the way I loved, adored, and looked up to him. The four of us lived in a tightly packed council estate flat in Northolt, London. We lived on welfare benefits, but I was truly blessed with many early magical moments. I was also blessed with a magical heart, easily excited by things, people, places, sights, smells, and sounds. Every time I walked by Paul's Commodore 64 computer, which for some unknown reason we were able to acquire back then in the 1980s, I would type out the sentence on the keyboard, I am very excited. I would type it out quickly because I knew I wasn't supposed to touch the computer. And I typed this particular sentence out for no reason other than somehow I had worked out that whenever I typed those words, I would feel excited. And so why wouldn't I do that whenever I could? So there I was, living my best life at the age of 6. And then on one particular night when I'd been tucked up in my bed, I experienced something. As I lay there, curled up in my favorite place with the duvet snuggled right up under my chin and my toes happily wiggling against the fresh, soft sheet underneath, I began my favorite pastime of thinking inside my head. I began to imagine the world, and then my mind took me up and out and beyond. And now I was in space, floating with the stars. I drifted farther out and continued to float. And then the realization hit. I am here. I am more than this small girl in this bed. I am big, and I go forever and ever, and it doesn't stop. It continues and goes on and on. I keep on going forever and ever and ever and ever and ever. I felt it all right there within myself, remembering this familiar truth. I was calm, but as my mind continued on its natural trajectory, it all started to feel big, too big for my capacity at the time. And so it began to feel scary. I took a giant breath and returned to the here and now, back in my bed, tugging the duvet up even tighter around my body and up underneath my chin. And I snuggled in fetal position, happy to be back in my bed again. But right there in that moment, I had remembered. I knew as I lay there that I had a power far beyond my age and body. I knew that I had been here many, many times before, and that there was something far bigger, far beyond this life. It felt as if there might be more, but the details were just right now out of my reach. I kept that experience to myself, never telling my family, not because I couldn't tell them, but because it felt like a silent knowing. It wasn't until after my 40th birthday that this early experience made full sense and I was able to pick up where I had left off. Firstly, however, I had a life to live, a journey to experience, and a few plot twists to move through, as per the plan I'd agreed to many, many moons ago on a distant timeline I was yet to learn about.